After trudging through the 4th episode of It, Welcome to Derry, I kept thinking to myself, there's gonna have to be some Pennywise in this show about Pennywise, right? And I get it, the clown is just one of many forms it can take, but it's the iconic one people clearly want to wait and watch for. So it's getting a little old, wash, rinse, and repeating week after week, hoping that this stupid ass clown's gonna show up. If you've been watching me during these It Welcome to Derry recap videos, you'll notice that my patience is starting to wear thin. I started out very high on the first 2 episodes, the third one, very rough, and now we are done with episode 4 with 5 right around the corner, and I can't help but just be completely deflated on this thing. This show has almost completely lost me now, but I'm gonna break it down as best as I can remember. And if you want to, feel free to sub to the show, Adam Does Movies, on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. You can also hype this video if you're on YouTube, whatever the hell that means. All right, let's get into it. Episode 4 is going to take us back, way back, to the origin of this alien entity crash landing on Earth. But before we get to that point, we first got to spend some more time with these dumb kids, where they have confidently approached the police chief and have a bunch of photo evidence of something that they caught a picture of while in front of a green screen at a fake cemetery. He's not impressed. By the way, it didn't look anything like a clown. I don't know how they jumped to that conclusion, but so the cops are once again in the dark and the kids are up Schitt's Creek without a paddle. Schitt's Creek, that was a much better show than this has been so far. Let's continue. Lily decides to confide in one of the adults that she can trust, Juniper Hill, who's dressed in red and white stripes. I'm sure that's not a reference to anything. And I'm pretty positive she's some form of it itself, but we'll get there, I imagine, eventually. Anyway, Juniper seems pretty supportive about this whole situation Lily finds herself in. I just don't know what she's going to bring to the table at the end of the day. Now back with Charlotte and her boring-ass storyline. She's having a conversation with her new best friend, Rose. Rose gives her some sage advice to keep her son and loved ones close by, because you just never know when shit's gonna go down. The Army Boys somehow have an even less interesting storyline going on, as it appears they're gonna open up a juke joint, just a place where they can hang out. Feel like the writer watched Sinners this year and was like, yeah, we could somehow incorporate that in Welcome to Derry, I think. Alright, something finally happens on this episode. Will goes out on a little fishing expedition with his father, expedition short, of course, for expedition, and he's gonna reel in what he thought was the catch of the day, but it's gonna be a premonition of sorts. After snapping his line or some shit, his dad has to go all the way back to the trunk of his car to get the tackle box. Why he didn't leave it next to the side of the riverbed where they're fishing? Who knows? I would. While the old man is fishing for tackle, Will gets pulled into the lake and he sees what he thinks is his dad burning alive, pulling the kid further in. We already know that this poor kid is gonna burn alive when he becomes an adult. I found this scene to be perfectly mediocre, but I really could not get it out of my head that they had that tackle box so far away. Perhaps they don't tangle up lines or lose bobbers as fast as I do. Meanwhile, the police chief has his second visitor of the day. This time it's Charlotte. And she's inquiring about the man they currently have into custody, wrongfully accused of murdering or kidnapping or doing something with those missing kids from the first episode. And he tells her point blank, look, lady, we have the right guy, okay? We have him nailed down hook, line, and sinker. This is a callback to the fishing that we had a little bit earlier. Now back at the school with the patty cakes, they have decided, in their infinite wisdom, to do a good old classic prank on Lily. We don't actually get to find out what the prank was going to be because only phase 1 has been put into play, which was convincing Lily that the cute quarterback over there has googly eyes for her and that she should approach him. But first, she needs to freshen up in the bathroom. While Lily's in the stall, presumably taking a solid shit, Margie comes bursting in because she's still a little queasy about some science video they watched earlier. Well, if we know it loves to pry on those insecurities one has, especially with the kids, so it's going to start messing with her eyesight. Specifically, bulging them out of her face. And this will lead to one of the grossest things I've seen in a TV series in quite some time. As Margie takes off out of the bathroom with her CGI eyes bulging out of her face, it's truly disturbing. The last time I think I was this disturbed was watching that live-action Scooby-Doo movie, and Isla Fisher kind of pulled her face away like a rubber mask. Whew, chills. Margie runs into shop class where she's gonna put an end to that itchy eyesight by cutting them off. Some people would use some drops, but not this chick. She plays to win. I gotta say, Margaret, you are a sight for sore eyes these days. Ay, ay, ay. I don't even think LASIK can correct that problem. Lily seems to find herself in the wrong place at the wrong time, because when she barges in, Margie's on the ground and she's trying to ice pick one of her eyes out. Lily grabs it from her, pulls the hook up into the air just in time for the rest of the school, basically, to come in and see what has taken place. Not a good look. At the military compound, Dick and the general see a bunch of snoops out on the side of the fence. It turns out it's the local Indians keeping an eye on this area. Why? Well, we're about to find out, as Nick is going to use his shining abilities to peer inside the mind of one of these gentlemen. And this is where we're going to spend the last 10 or so minutes learning a bit about the origins of Pennywise. The Indians had a different name for this chap. They called it Gleep Glop or Gloopy or the Goopers. It's actually called the Galoo. And honestly, that sounds like the name of a giant blue monster that would tag along with a young Asian girl in some Studio Ghibli film. The Indians were able to keep the Galoo at bay with, I think, some magical ceremonial knife or some shit. Believe me, I've completely checked out on this show, but I'm still going to try to recap it for no reason at all. But a threat, even greater than that of the Galoo, has come along. The white man! Dun, dun, done! They pillaged, they plundered, they maimed, they killed. And they opened up the barrier, the hunting grounds area for the Galoo to travel in. This is a problem. One, that a very special group of Indians is going to take care of. And what does everyone in this group of Indians have in common? Nothing special, really. They have your traditional markings, clothing, they're fast, they're smart, they're independent. Oh yes, they're also all strong female leads. And for a group of indigenous people, quite frankly, it's about time. Listen, when it comes to a lot of modern Hollywood movies and TV shows and the writing that's involved, I let a lot of shit slide. I don't really care so much about the whole, women are the greatest things ever and men kind of suck thing you see a lot of times, but this is laughably stupid. All the women in the tribe are doing everything. There's no guys that are going along with this. If there are, it's a blink and you miss situation. It's all the women. It just makes no fucking sense at all. It's just campy and corny and not what I'm looking for from it. The rest of the episode is this montage of low budget garbage where they're quickly spitting out a bunch of information about how these ladies are gonna ward off the Deuce Bigalow male gigolo character by putting up these different smoke screens all over and centralizing him in this large but concealed locale. That very same locale that eventually will have that creepy house built on top of it that we saw in the It films. This seems like a good place to stop. And it does. As the camera tilts sideways and starts to move towards the door. Ding dong! Who's there? I'm thinking Pennywise for episode 5. And that's where we leave it. Another pretty lame episode of It, Welcome to Derry, a show that started out with promise, but then it became clear that, shit, we're just gonna do the same thing every week where we slow roll some of the details and mysteries behind him, and we have a couple scares from the kids, wash, rinse, repeat. It's getting old fast, especially when a lot of the characters just aren't that fun to watch. Let me know where you're at with the show, though, but for me, this has just been a steady downhill decline. Now, we did get that one badass scene where the girl went all villain from Who Framed Roger Rabbit with her eyes going, "Bah!" But outside of that, it's another dud. All right, that's all I have. Please think of liking the video and subscribing once more to Adam Does Movies on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And hopefully, I see you next time. Take care.